It's the news in Formula 1 this Wednesday, and we're sticking with the top two in the drivers' and constructors' battles, as Red Bull don't rule out more PU changes for Max Verstappen before the season is done with, and Lewis Hamilton perhaps needs to trust his team and pit wall a little more on a race day, as Toto Wolff admits that the driver might be having a little bit of difficulty in making the right calls from the cockpit of his car. I'm Ollie Wilson, this is of course GPFans. You should be hitting that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with everything that we do here at the channel, and let's dive into those all important headlines in the world of Formula 1. All the talk going into the Turkish Grand Prix was about if and when Lewis Hamilton would take a new power unit for his Mercedes, but it's his title rivals Red Bull that aren't ruling out more grid penalties for PU changes this season. Hamilton started from 11th on the grid after Mercedes decided to give the 7-time world champion a new engine, while Red Bull were happy to take a similar hit in Russia in the previous Grand Prix, fitting Max with his 4th engine of the season for the final few races. But Christian Horner, the Red Bull team principal, wasn't willing to totally rule out yet another grid penalty in the final 6 races of this season if Red Bull decide to make more power unit changes before the end of the campaign. Asked if he was confident of completing the season without any more engine penalties, Horner replied, "I think in normal circumstances we should be able to do it with the penalty that we took in Sochi. So yeah, that gives us 3 engines still alive in our pool. We are not down to just 1 engine. So it looks like theoretically we should be able to get to the end of the year. Never say never." Horner was in a joyous mood after seeing his number 1 driver retake the lead in the Drivers' Championship standings, and with Sergio Perez having a fine Sunday of his own to finish 3rd in Turkey, the Red Bull boss was very happy with the weekend's work in the Constructors' battle as well. "To take the points we did in both the drivers and constructors, the engineering team did a great job when we were a bit out of the window on Friday," said Horner. "Arguably, it has been Mercedes' strongest circuit we have seen so far this season, so to have 2 cars on the podium and retake the lead in the Drivers' Championship was a positive day for us." All good news for Red Bull then, but on the other side of the title battle, and Toto Wolff has conceded that Lewis Hamilton is perhaps having a little bit of difficulty calling the shots from the cockpit of his car as the title battle boils down to the final few races of the season. The Turkish Grand Prix saw Lewis fight from 11th on the grid back into the top 5 to finish the race, but late on at Istanbul Park, Hamilton looked to push a near bald set of intermediates to the end in order to try and hold on to a possible podium spot. While the pit wall encouraged him to put on a fresh set of rubber like many around him, Hamilton decided to stay out until it became apparent that his wheels would hold on no further and would likely see him slide further down the order, forcing the driver to pit with 8 laps remaining. Hamilton was frustrated over team radio, although denied any anger after the race, but despite the calls of anguish in the closing stages, Wolff stood by the team's decision. "I think in the car it is always very difficult to assess your position in the race," said Wolff. "We could have either played it very conservatively and pitted him when Verstappen, Perez at the time pitted, and then fought it out on track. We would have probably come out behind Perez and fight for P4, P3 on track. The other thing was to try to go long and either think it's transitioning to a dry tyre or just not stopping anymore. So there were 2 possible options that sounded quite good." Hamilton's decision to stay out looked rather fruitful, whilst those that had pitted battled through a graining phase with the new intermediate tyres before they quickly found pace as the Mercedes tyre wear deteriorated. "Unfortunately, the pace just dropped off much quicker than we would have needed to stay 3rd or even 4th or 5th, explained Wolff. "We almost lost the window against Gasly and then we decided, let's consolidate 5th. So I think in hindsight, I would have pitted 10 laps earlier and fought it out on track and finished 3rd or 4th, but there was much more to gain from the other, more dynamic variant." So does Lewis need to listen to his pit wall just a little bit more? Is it more difficult for Hamilton at the moment to be making the calls that they need on a Sunday race day from the cockpit? Of course, his team helped him out in Russia when he initially ignored them, but then helped to secure the win by switching to the intermediate tyres late on. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and of course, as always, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything that we do here at GPFans.